After the first quarter of the season, your Detroit Lions have the #1 run defense in the league, allowing under 300 yards. Why is this a factor? This is a factor because we go in and we host the Carolina Panthers in week 5. And with a victory over the Panthers and a loss by the Green Bay Packers, we have a chance to be 2.5 games up just after 5 games in the NFC North. A nice little cushion to start off the second quarter of the season. But there's something about Carolina. When we faced them last year, we had a chance to make more of a step to the playoffs, and a game that wind up costing us a playoff spot in the long run. Carolina, they ran all over us, and they didn't just run. They had a historic day for their squad. This is coming from M Live. Says, don't look now, but the Detroit Lions. Yes, those Detroit Lions have the top run rush defense in the league. Yes, really. After allowing just 71 yards on the ground the last 2 weeks combined, a rush defense that languished among the NFL's worst for a long time is suddenly allowing just 60.8 yards per game, which is tops in the league heading into a rematch with the Carolina Panthers, a team that gutted them for a team record 320 yards on the ground last season. Now, we are all familiar with what happened that day. I mean, we went in there, and I want to say they were 4-7 at the time, the Carolina Panthers, and they were within reach of the NFC South title, because the whole NFC South was miserable. I think Tom Brady got into the playoffs with the Tampa Bay Bucks with a losing record. But that game right there, we all went in there and we thought we were going to win it. And we know about the field conditions and such. And the Detroit Lions weren't, although they were kind of complaining about it, they weren't making excuses for the loss. But do you think the Detroit Lions remember that? I think they do. Here's what Aleem McNeil had to say. Said that was bad. Defensive tackle Aleem McNeil said it was a really bad taste in our mouths after that. Obviously, we remember that coming into this week. It was a super bad taste. I'll keep it simple. It was a really bad taste. And I think instead of keep it simple, he meant I'll keep it clean. That we know what they did to us. I mean, I remember watching, it seemed like every time they got a carry, every single time, they was up the gut. Dante Former was running. I mean, everyone was just running all over the Detroit Lions that particular day. So the Detroit Lions have a chance to not only increase their lead in the NFC North, but also get revenge on a team and a loss that helped them miss the playoffs. And we go back to that game because we wind up losing that game, and then we had to beat the Bears and we had to beat the Green Bay Packers to even have a chance to go. And we know what happened after that. But the Detroit Lions have gotten better at that position when it comes to the defensive line. I mean, while the personnel changes are not that different, they grew as a team. Here's what Dan Campbell had to say. I just think we've got some growth in that area. Head coach Dan Campbell said, I think Aleem McNeil's playing pretty good for us, but Benito Jones been good. Thought Isaiah Buggs stepped in the other day and did some things good for us. Certainly Aiden Hutchinson is playing better. I mean, I just think you can go across the board. And I think our linebackers are playing at a high level too across the board. I think that's Alex Anzalone. I think that's Derek Barnes. And I think that's Jack Campbell, all three of them. And remember last year, that was a spot that we had to get better at. And then, we have Cam Sutton. So we have Brian Branch. I mean, if these guys have to come up and stop the run, we had Mike Hughes, we had Deshaun Elliott, and Deshaun Elliott was serviceable. We had Jeff Okuda, the few times Amani played as well before he wind up getting benched. So the Detroit Lions have an opportunity to have Carolina come into their home. They're going against a rookie quarterback who's already missed some games. And I think that this team is not only that defensive line is going to get to Bryce and make his life uncomfortable. I also believe, and you know who's going to be paying attention? Brian Burns. He's going to be like, I want to go over there. And I think we're going to stop these guys. I think we're going to remember what they did to us last year, and we are going to make them remember who we are. And remember, we didn't forget what happened last year, but I think that's what's going to happen. And this is probably my favorite part of the article here. Derek Barnes, what did he have to say about what Carolina did to them? He said,
"We owe them. We owe them one."
That's what he had to say. Derek Barnes, who has stepped up his play in his third year, becoming the linebacker that we saw potential of in year one. I mean, it might be something to what they say about year three of players kind of really settling in. This guy was, I mean, come on and get your starting job. Throughout the preseason and training camp, we heard about how Derek Barnes was kind of coming alive and earned his way into a starting spot. And I mean, I am kind of eagerly anticipating this game, and there's a 90% chance that I will be in attendance at that game. So I will definitely let you know on Friday and probably Saturday's videos as well. So leave it in the comment section. What do you think of the Detroit Lions run defense being the number one run defense in the NFL after the first quarter? What do you think we're going to do to the Carolina Panthers? And love to know your thoughts in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. It feels really, really good to win. I don't know how anybody ever wants to lose. The feeling of being on top is fantastic.